They say that love is noticing little things. I I don't know what that means. Maybe I never got the time. Let's state my name for the record. Okay, my name is John, and I guess I'm crazy, or you think I'm crazy. I met Emily at school. I tried being brave, and I'm not a brave person. I'm not really a leader or a hero. But I tried to climb a jungle gym for, I guess, bragging rights. I don't know how you measure triumphs as a single-digit age child, but I fell, and Emily stayed with me, and then I stayed with her. I don't think I need to go through all the stuff between then and when the story really takes place. But we didn't exactly have a perfect relationship, but we had all the hallmarks of a typical romantic movie. You know, the ups and downs and twists and turns and breakups and makeups, and then 10 days ago we got married. We decided to stay at this really exclusive hotel. It's very kind of remote, but it's very oh no, you don't want to say retro. What's the word? Art Deco, is it? Everything had this polished, high-class look, but vintage. Everything streamlined and rounded, and lots of either sharp edges or rounded curves. Marble everywhere. It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. And we were lucky because it's an exclusive hotel and there's not a whole lot of rooms. I mean, there was a lot of rooms. There was an absolute ton of rooms, but it's not easy to get. So the staff, they handed me my key, and they took us to room 237. And that was the first time that I noticed something, was that the receptionist thought it was weird that we had room 237, but that's the room that I booked. they said it was a honeymoon suite, and we were on our honeymoon, and I wanted the best. I mean, I was never rich, I was never uh, well off in any way, and this would be the one chance for Emily and I to live it up. But they kept scratching their head. How did he get room 237? How did he get that room? And I asked initially what the problem was, and they said, well, nothing really. It's just we typically don't rent out room 237. We don't like letting people stay there. And when I said why, they just said, don't worry about it, it'll be fine. It's just an old story. But it's one of our oldest rooms and one of our nicest suites. So Emily was thrilled that we had this exclusive room in this exclusive hotel on this very important time in our relationship. And when we entered, it was well worth the years of saving to get it. Everything was beautiful, just perfect. Just like something out of a movie, It was the kind of place that, those scenes in movies where the couple get together and they have this like amazing first night together. Imagine if everything in this room was like that, like set for that sort of scene. Which was odd because the bellboy, he looked like he'd never opened the room before. He seemed just as shocked as we were. Which can't be right because there were rose petals on the bed and there was fresh wood at the fireplace, and somebody had to have been in there. There was no dust or anything. The only thing that was really out of place was the mirror. That fucking mirror. It was a big silver mirror, taller than I am. I mean, I'm not all that tall, but you get what I mean. Like, it was a full-size mirror. And it had these beautiful, ornate, I don't know, like it was in the frame, like it's almost little sculptures of people. But it was weird. It was beautiful and weird. It was beautiful and it was looking at me. It was judging me. But Emily was enamored by it, captivated by the mirror. She was staring at it constantly, like just staring at it. And at first, I mean, it was a beautiful mirror, and I mean, I love staring at Emily, so what difference did it make? At least, that's what I thought. I noticed that the next morning, I mean, everything went fine as far as I knew, but when I woke up to presumably get myself ready to make my newly wedded wife a breakfast in bed, I found her back in her wedding dress, staring at the mirror again. And I thought, well, she only got to be a wife once. I mean, provided everything works out. That's not a big deal, right? But then it happened again the next morning. And then that day, Emily didn't want to leave her reflection. And when I asked her if she wanted to go somewhere, she looked at me like I was different. She withdrew from me a little. And I thought maybe it was just, I don't know, post-nuptial cold feet. So I just wanted to let her have her space, you know? Not a big deal, I thought. Not a big deal. But then I thought maybe I did something really wrong when she wouldn't come to dinner. She wouldn't come to bed. She wouldn't do anything. She would almost be entranced by the mirror. And then I swear the next morning I found her talking to her reflection. And I asked her, I said, Emily, I gotta wonder who you're talking to. And she kept saying that if you look at the mirror and you really listen, that you would know more about what's going on. And I said, what's going on with what? And she said there was a person to talk to named Isabella. And she said that this is not the place to be trusted. And I was left scratching at my head. Emily had never said anything to the effect that she would get fixated like this. She'd never act like this. And who the hell is Isabella? At least, that's what I thought. After another day of not knowing what the hell was going on, and finding my wife staring at a mirror instead of spending time with me. I mean, I know this was an amazing place, and we didn't have all the time in the world. But she was just staring at the goddamn mirror. Why would she stare at the damn mirror all the time and not look at me? She married me, not the goddamn mirror. So I went back to the receptionist, and I asked about anything to do with room 237. And I asked who Isabella was. And that's when the receptionist about went white. And then very quickly shut everything down, like the whole conversation. So I chose to take a day to go to the local library. Emily didn't mind. She was having a chit-chat with somebody that wasn't there. And I started looking up the hotel in room 237. And that's when I learned about Maxwell and Isabella Payne. Maxwell was some sort of land tycoon. I don't really understand. If you've ever read a paper from like 50 some or more years ago, it doesn't make as much sense as you'd think it would. But there was an arrest. There was an arrest in 237. Maxwell murdered his wife in room 237. And when he was arrested, he claimed that his wife was not his wife. He claimed that Isabel was gone and somebody else had taken his wife's place. He said that she wouldn't stop looking at a mirror. I don't know if you would see the color of my skin at that point, but I would imagine it would have matched that of the receptionist. Maxwell Payne, he must have been crazy. He must have lost his mind. He must have got swept up in this ridiculous sense of jealousy that I had with this stupid goddamn mirror and murdered his wife. At least that's what I think he had to have done, because when I think of the same thing happening with me, I feel like I'm crazy. Do I sound crazy to you? Oh, don't give me that stupid bullshit. I'm telling you what went down, and I can hear myself talking, and I know it sounds insane. Fine. I'm telling you, okay? When I got back, I actually found that Emily was not staring at the mirror. Emily was in the shower. She was singing. She was happy. She was practically giddy. It was like everything was normal, and I was the one that was just nuts. Like maybe I'd just been dreaming this, and maybe it's all just in my head. I don't know. I didn't know. I don't know. That's why I'm here, right? Because I'm nuts, right? She was in the shower. She was singing. She was happy. She was herself. And the mirror was just there. It was just staring at me. It was just staring, and I was trying not to look at it. I was trying to just go, you know what? Just don't even bring it up. This is our fucking honeymoon. This is like the one time where a scary story would just ruin everything, and everything's already been weird for me. But I couldn't help it. I looked at the mirror and I just started hearing this whispering, this intense whispering, but it wasn't in English. It wasn't even in a language. It just sounded like raw anger, like envy, like vicious, malicious envy, but not in words, like just in a guttural growling, but in a whisper, like so muted I could barely hear it, and at the same time it pounded in my ears. I couldn't take it, so I just ripped the top sheet off the mattress and threw it over the mirror and went silent. Everything fell silent, which sent a shiver down my spine because the shower had stopped. And when I turned, there was Emily. Glaring, vicious, eyes like daggers, piercing straight through my throat and my heart. Soaking wet. Like she just stormed out of the shower and just completely bare, staring at me, going, "John, what the hell are you doing?" And I said, the mirror was bothering me. I just didn't want to look at it. She immediately raised her hand to hit me. And then, like, it just dawned on her, and she said, "If I didn't know any better, I'd swear you're acting just like Max." And she stormed off and grabbed the sheet and ripped it off the mirror. And then stormed back into the shower. I didn't understand. I still don't understand. It just got worse after that. It was like that one act, that just of putting that sheet over top of the mirror just made everything worse. Just soured our whole relationship, everything. As soon as Emily was dry, she was back in the wedding dress and back to staring at the mirror. Only now she was calling me Max. I slept in the hallway that night. When I told the receptionist, the same one, what was going on, they didn't bother to give me any trouble. They couldn't give me another room, but they said, "It's okay, we'll leave a couch outside your room so you can sleep there if it's really too much." And part of me is glad that I stayed out there, and part of me really wonders if that was the right move. When I got into the room the next morning, that's when I saw it. That's the morning of what happened. I opened the door, and I had opened the door because I heard Emily screaming. And at first I thought she was just angry again, and I didn't want to bother her, but it almost immediately fell silent. And that bothered me. And about 4 or 5 seconds in, I heard the whispering again. I still couldn't make out any words, but it was getting louder. Louder and louder. And finally, I used my key. I opened the door. And I saw Emily. I saw Emily in her wedding dress again. And I don't even know. How do I... She wasn't... It wasn't a reflection. No. I mean, there was no her. There was just her reflection. And she was just standing perfectly still, like the mirror was a painting, but it wasn't a painting, it was a mirror. And None of it made any fucking sense. And then I heard a voice calling for Max. And there was Emily. Her reflection was in the mirror, and it was her. And there was Emily in the bedroom, but it wasn't Emily. None of the little things about Emily were there. It was someone calling me Max, and it was Isabel. Max wasn't lying. Maxwell Payne was not lying. The woman, the woman in the thing, she wasn't Emily. She was Isabel. Only I don't think that was even Isabel at that point. I think it was somebody else that took Isabel from her and then took Emily from me. And she said that she wouldn't be the one to go this time. And I didn't know what the hell to do. She wasn't the same person. She wasn't the same person. Max was right. All those years ago, Max was right. It wasn't Isabel. It's not Emily. It's somebody else. You have to go back to room 237. You have to go there and take the mirror away. No, I'm not. Okay, I'm crazy. I'm crazy. I'm completely crazy. I don't care. Lock me up and throw away the key. We go back to 237. You have to. You have to.